Hello and welcome to Berlin. I am very excited because I've shown you so many places around the world by now, but never anything from my home country. Today we are going to explore Berlin on a budget style, meaning no fancy restaurants, no expensive tours, just the raw, pure, authentic Berlin on feet. We are starting today's video here at the Alexanderplatz, one of the most popular and famous squares here in Berlin. Historically speaking, it was a very important square. During medieval time, this used to be a marketplace. Later on, this used to be a centerpiece of the city and formed into a very vibrant area of the city. The Alexanderplatz has been named after a Russian Tsar, Alexander I, after his visit in 1805. During World War II, the Alexanderplatz got completely destroyed. And in the 60s, there have been huge reformation projects that rebuilt this whole square. It was part of East Germany during the division of Germany into East and West. This square became a very modern part of East Germany with socialist architecture surrounding it. There are some very famous landmarks on this square, such as this world clock that shows the time around cities in the world, and of course the Fernsehturm, or the TV tower in English, which is with 368 meters the highest building of Germany. You can actually go up there. You will have to pay an entrance fee, but from up there you have stunning views all over the city and 360 degrees views. There is a bar up there where you can just sit down, have a drink, and the TV tower is turning around. It is moving. Every half hour it is completing a full circle. I used to live in Berlin, by the way, so I know the city quite well. And one of the things that I always liked about it was that it is a super international city. You will find people from all over the world here, and therefore also restaurants, for example, from all over the world. It is super multicultural, and also it is quite famous for its art scene. There are lots of graffitis, for example, in the streets. Over the history of the city, people just started to draw their opinions, their thoughts, their worries on walls, for example. And there are lots of very artistic places here in the city, and we are going to visit one of them right now. So this cute little alley here is called the Chicken Alley. It's got its name from a punk band of the area that was part of the underground scene here. It is famous for its graffitis and the art that you can see here all over the walls. They are completely full, but it is a very beautiful alley actually. Although it might seem a little bit shady from the outside, but it is beautiful. There are lots of people here. There are some bars here. You can have a drink here if you want to. And I think it is a must-see if you are here in Berlin. It's quite a unique place. I am now at a market which is called Hackescher Markt. It is located right in front of the Dead Chicken Alley, and it is a beautiful marketplace where you can find all kinds of foods, flowers and handmade things. And for me it is now time to try a currywurst. I haven't had one in such a long time, and I think it is kind of a must here in Berlin. It is the most typical street food that you can find here probably, and you will find it all over the city. I have so many memories of eating currywurst or bratwurst, and it's always kind of the taste of home for me. I love it. It's basically a bratwurst, and then the sauce is tomato sauce with curry. It's not spicy, but it is very delicious. Another very famous artistic area is the East Side Gallery here in Berlin. The East Side Gallery is basically this wall here behind me, which is covered in more than 100 murals. This wall is the original Berlin Wall. The murals have been painted in 1990. These paintings transformed the wall from a symbol of division into a canvas full of hope, freedom and unity. The murals have been painted by artists from all over the world. The East Side Gallery is located in the district of Friedrichshain, and it goes along the river Spree. One of the most famous murals is probably this mural here, which shows the fraternal kiss in between the East German leader and the Soviet leader. The murals cover a lot of themes reflecting on freedom, peace, and political topics. This one clearly reflects on a political topic, and this has actually happened. This is a painting of a photo of the fraternal kiss between Erich Honecker, the leader of the German Democratic Republic, and Leonid Brezhnev, the leader of the Soviet Union. There were several days of meetings between those two leaders for the 30th anniversary of the founding of the German Democratic Republic. And on October 5th, the USSR and the German Democratic Republic signed an economic agreement. And to celebrate that achievement, this kiss actually happened in real. While Western nations usually do the cold handshake when they came to an agreement, it is quite normal for communist countries to do this fraternal kiss. This kiss is meant to illustrate solidarity and brotherhood. I'm now taking a walk along the Spree. It's a river here in Berlin that is the most popular river for various activities, especially during the summer. There are lots of people enjoying the parks around the Spree. There's lots of green space. You can do a boat tour on the river, and people enjoy some sports along the promenade of the river as well. Besides that, you get some beautiful views over Berlin with the TV tower in the background. Right in front of the Spree and not far away from the TV tower, you can find one of the most symbolic buildings of Berlin, and that is the Dome of Berlin right here behind me, also known as the Cathedral of Berlin. It is a very important and symbolic place of the city, and it is famous for its monumental architecture. You can actually get up on the cathedral, but that's not for free, and since we are on a budget, we are not going to do that right now, but just so you know that this is also an option. The building has suffered a lot over time. Its construction has been finished in 1905, but of course, especially during the Second World War, it got partially destroyed. But they rebuilt it, and the building is open to the public ever since 1993. I am now at the Gendarmenmarkt, which is obviously completely under construction. It is usually a very vibrant area and a beautiful square with some symbolic places. Here you will find the German cathedral, the French cathedral, and the concert hall of Berlin. All three of those buildings are very beautiful buildings and definitely worth a visit. And in general, here in this area, there are some events that take place throughout the year, and you will find one of the most beautiful Christmas markets of Berlin here at this square. And finally, I made it to the probably most famous landmark of Berlin, the Brandenburg Gate. It is one of the most symbolic places of the city, and it has a lot of history. It has been constructed in between 1788 and 1791. And on top of the gate you can see a copper statue of the goddess of victory. This statue has been moved from Berlin to France by Napoleon once he entered Berlin. But later on it has been returned to the city of Berlin, and ever since that it has become a symbol of resilience and victory. And of course, also during the Cold War, when Germany was divided into East and West Germany, this place played a very important role. The Brandenburg Gate has not been accessible during the time of the Cold War. Also right now it is super crowded, and that is because there's an exhibition going on. You can see like screens behind me where they show a little bit the history of the Berlin Wall and the Cold War in general. But if you want to learn more about that, make sure to check out that video that I have created just specifically about this topic. Berlin is more than just a cultural place and a touristic place. There's lots of history here in the city, important history for the whole country of Germany, and therefore I decided to create this story in a separate video. This here is now the other side of the Brandenburg Gate. This is actually the western side of it. So the gate has always faced the eastern side of Berlin. And if you are wondering why there are so many people here, that's actually because we are celebrating 35 years of the fall of the Berlin Wall this year in 2024. So therefore they have some celebrations going on here and also some exhibitions and so on. And I just received a free book about that time, which is also kind of cool. I've never got anything free in this country. A place that definitely cannot be missed on a budget trip to Berlin is the Reichstag building that you can see here in the background. This building is the seat of the government of Germany, and you can actually visit it for free. You can get up to its peak over there, and from there you will have a look down into the Bundestag, which is the area where the government has its conferences and meetings and so on. It is definitely a very interesting building, and since it's for free, it should definitely be on your list. The only thing you need to do is to register online. I'm going to leave you a link in the description below where you can do that registration. And make sure to do this at least 2 weeks in advance. I won't be able to enter it today because unfortunately I was late. The Reichstag building has been constructed in between 1884 and 1894, and it has also been used as the government building by the Nazis. But a fire in 1933 prevented the Nazis from further use of this building, and they moved their government building close to the Reichstag building to the Opera House. After the war, Germany was divided into East and West Germany, and also Berlin has been divided into East and West. The Reichstag building stood in the western part of Berlin, and that location made it impossible to use this building as a government building because Western Berlin was isolated in Eastern Germany. And well, Eastern Germany wasn't able to use this building since it was located in the western part of Berlin. The Reichstag building became the seat of Germany again in 1999 after a full restoration. I am now taking a walk through Berlin's oldest park area. This is the Tiergarten, and it is one of the largest park areas of the city. Originally, it has been established in the 16th century as a royal hunting area. But over the centuries, it has transformed into a park area of more than 210 hectares. And it is super popular among people. In my opinion, it is always worth to take a walk through this park, as it is super beautiful and super green. Not right now because it's fall, but especially during the summer months. It becomes super alive. There are so many people outside here soaking in the sun, sitting on the grass, having a picnic and so on. It is an absolutely beautiful area, and there are several monuments in here that are also worth a visit. In general, in this park you can also find several lakes, and as it has been redesigned in 1830, it is more like an English style garden nowadays with lakes and lots of green spaces. Located in the heart of the Tiergarten is this monument here behind me, which is probably the most famous monument of the park Tiergarten. This is the Siegessäule, or in English, Victory Column, and it has been constructed in 1864 to celebrate the Prussian victory in the Schleswig War. Nowadays it is open for visitors, and you can get up on the top and have an amazing overview over Berlin and its most important landmarks, such as the Reichstag building where we've been before, or the Brandenburg Gate. I am now walking by the Potsdamer Platz, which is one of the most modern squares here of Berlin. It has been reconstructed after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. One little fun fact about the Potsdamer Platz is that here you can find the very first traffic light that has been constructed in Europe in 1924. The original didn't survive World War II, so what you can see here is only a replicate of the original traffic light. Besides that, you can also see some original parts of the Berlin Wall here at the Potsdamer Platz. I am now at the Tempelhofer Feld. This is a park area here in Berlin. It is Berlin's largest park area by far, and it is an old airport. I am currently walking on the landing lane. This park area is, historically speaking, a very important area of Berlin because, for example, during the Cold War, this has been used for the air bridge of the Air Force. But again, I am talking more about this topic in the video about the Cold War here in Berlin. Nowadays there are lots of people enjoying this open air space, lots of people doing sports here, all kinds of sports. In the summer they come out here with their barbecues and enjoy the sun. It is a very impressive park in my opinion. I love this area, and it is especially beautiful during sunset. And now that the sun is already gone, this is a sign for me to go back to my hotel. We are done with today's tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will hopefully see you in my next adventure around the world.